I put on this sweatshirt today. Both my folks were from Nebraska, go Cornhuskers. But I've had it since I was a teenager. And I was thinking, when I got this sweatshirt, my middle name was not Amelia. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I got from Diane Marie to Diane Amelia Reed. And it goes like this. There was a chapter in my life where everything was upheavally. My job was just at a point where it looked like I was not going to get a promotion that I was hoping for, and my marriage was ending. I was deep into therapy, excavating myself out of all the crap that had me locked in an eating disorder. I mean, my insides were churning. And one of the things of the many that I was looking at that time was, do I want to have kids? And so that as the backdrop, I had a dream. I dreamed that somebody off camera, I couldn't see who it was, handed me a baby. Like not a spanking newborn, but a baby that could at least sit upright. And I took the baby and thought, wow, what do I do with this? And I put the baby in a rocking chair and I went on about my business. And then in a little while I thought, oh shit, I forgot about the baby. And I went rushing back and the baby was fine. She was just sitting in the chair, fine. And so I went back to whatever I was doing. And for a second time, I thought, what kind of idiot are you? You left the baby, go. And I went rushing back and the baby was fine. So at this point, someone off camera, whoever handed me the baby said, this baby's named Elizabeth. And I said, like hell she is. Her name is Amelia. And as I woke from the dream, I was kissing the side of her little baby head, love, 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 and thinking I never want to be without this baby. And I woke up thinking, shit, I must really want to have kids. That's got to be a sign. But I mentioned this dream to a friend of mine who said, there's a school of dream interpretation that says you are all the characters in your dream. So you're the voice off camera, and you're also that baby. And it occurred to me that with all I was going through, all the emerging from upheaval, there was a little sprout of me growing. And I loved the idea from the dream that I didn't have to micromanage this little baby me emerging, this sprout, this bud. It was fine. It just let it grow, So there was that. Now, also in my family, my great-great-grandmother's name was Amelia Jones. And she lived to be 100, and she lived long enough to live with my dad for quite some time when he was a boy. So I grew up with all of these stories about great-grandmother Jones, my dad's great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother. And in my dad's vernacular, she was a pistol. And I always felt like I had kind of a big, deep dip from her gene pool, like an extra scoop of Amelia Jones. So there were a lot of stories that I heard about her. She was a homesteader on the plains of Nebraska, left her, this word from her letters, left her no-account husband, took their daughter, and she went out to homestead on the plains of Nebraska. Now, this was a huge source of family pride up until kind of recently when I realized, wow, the government was giving away land to anybody that would promise to work it. And of course, they took that land. And so that kind of, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. It's an ugly, ugly fact. And I have to acknowledge that my family participated in that. But in any case, Amelia Jones did decide to go be a homesteader, she and her young daughter, out on the plains of Nebraska. And she was 4'3". She was super short. She was a dynamo, but she hated being indoors during storms. So one of the stories that I knew about her was there was a tornado coming across the plain, and she went out arms akimbo, you know, arms akimbo, it's like this. She went out between her field and her house, arms akimbo, and when that tornado blew by, Amelia Jones was the only thing left standing. And I thought, I want to be standing that strong when my tornado blows by. So I took my, I don't know, $60 or $65 down to City Hall in Boston, and I changed my middle name from Marie to Amelia, and just claimed that little bit of familial badassery. So that's the story of Diane Amelia versus Diane Marie. That's, it's funny. That's how I crafted my identity. And I asked my folks what they thought, and my dad thought it was a great idea. And my mom said, "Oh, honey, it's your identity. You can just name yourself anything you want. But your Aunt Mary might be upset." And, you know, I was in my 30s at this point. And I said, "Really? Why would Aunt Mary care?" And she said, "Well, you know, Marie was after my sister Mary." It's like, okay, that's not going to affect me because I have never heard this. So off I went, papers to prove it. My name is now Diane Amelia Reed.